You've been waiting for it. We've got the new Takomo iron heads. We've got the 301 MB, the 301 CB, and the 101T. We're going to try them out and tell you what we think. Let's go. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm here with Keenan at Elite Fit Golf, and we're going to run through the new Takomo line or lines and hit some balls on GC Quad and just give you some initial feedback on looks, feel, performance, and just sort of try and help you get a little better idea if one of these Takomo irons is going to be right for your game. So we've got the 301 MB, which is their just pure blade. We've got the 301 CB, which is a very thin cavity back. And then probably the club that most people are going to be interested in is the 101T, which is their player's distance hollow body design. So we're going to hit all of them. We've got golfers of mediocre level and really good. And so we'll give you a little bit, maybe a little different viewpoint for each of these heads, and yeah, see what we think. So let's get started. Keenan, we'll start off. We'll go, what do you think? Easiest to hardest or hardest to
Easiest to hardest.
Easiest to hardest. All right, so we're going to start off with 101T. Keenan, we've got set up with Dynamic Gold, 105, 1 inch over standard, mid-size grips, and I've got standard length Dynamic Gold 120 stiff. And so we'll be swapping those out. We'll see what we get.
I'll take those, sir.
Those three are pretty tight, tight little grouping right there, I think. What do you think?
I like it. I mean, it doesn't actually look that big looking down at it. It doesn't look like a shovel or game improvement iron at all.
No.
But I definitely feel the forgiveness of it. It's a really nice look. I think it looks somewhat similar to Titleist irons to me, like AP1s almost.
Okay.
Maybe. And it definitely feels more forgiving. Feels, if anything, a little bit hot. I'm sure the loft is a little bit turned down, maybe.
Yeah, loft's a little bit lower.
For the game improvement iron.
A little more flex in the face too.
Feels good. I like it.
Yeah, that won't get you in trouble. Oh, that was pulled hard, but. Well. Still pulled a little, but coming back. You hear that? Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my swing. Kind of just like what Keenan said. I really like the look of it. It is not a, you know, you say player's distance and you may think bulkier, more forgiving club, but when you look down on it, it's not bulky. The top line is pretty darn narrow. The width of the head is probably, I don't think any of these three are really that much different. It's pretty darn compact. It does have a little bit, and I didn't hear it as much with Keenan, but I definitely hear it with me. It has a little bit of that clicky sound that you sometimes get from some of these player distance irons when you have that thinner face, and I definitely get a little bit of that with this. Just something to be aware of, but I would say overall very forgiving. Okay, so now we're going to move into the 301 CB, see what we get with that versus the 101T.
Pretty similar. Felt like it, I'm not sure of the lofts, but it felt like it maybe came off a little bit shorter.
30, 34 here,
Versus,
and the other one was 32.
Okay, so I would have guessed that it felt like less of a 6-iron, more of a 7-iron.
Yeah.
So it felt like a little bit like it wasn't going quite as far. I like the look again. To me, it looks pretty similar. Like I don't notice a big game improvement iron, cavity back iron difference when I'm looking down from the top of the swing. I like it. I don't feel too much of a difference, other than it feels a little less hot with the loft being 2.5 degrees higher. Couple of them actually curved this time. Could have just been little golf swings.
Right, yeah.
Maybe that's a game improvement thing that they just, improvement iron, you're going to lose a little workability. So, you know, small sample size, but maybe notice that.
Very similar look to them. Like the dimensions of them are pretty darn close. The top line's pretty, it's a little bit sharper on that top line. It's a little more rounded on that 101T, but the overall, and I think that's probably sort of what helps that 101T look a little more player-ish, is they can kind of smooth out those edges and make it look a little bit thinner than it maybe is. A little off the toe. Let's see what the yardage does.
Love that swing.
That was pretty good. A little over the top still, but that one felt pretty good. 160 carry. Like you said, loft a little bit higher, 2 degrees more loft, so definitely feels a little higher. Spin numbers were a little higher, I think, with this one. And but yeah, when you look down at it, when you're actually swinging it, pretty close. This definitely feels a little more solid. I don't get any of the, obviously this is a forged head, I don't get any of the clickiness here. This feels pretty darn traditional, and it's really good looking. So next up, the 301 Muscleback, which is pretty darn close to this, honestly. It doesn't look a whole lot different, so we'll see if we see any difference in the actual ball flight. Do you notice any real difference?
You know, to me, I question myself because I am not the most likely to notice the little touches, the top line, stuff like this, but I think I notice a difference with this one, actually.
You think this
one looks more different to me than the cavity back, maybe almost than the cavity back looks than the 101T. And I just expect the cavity back to look a lot different than the 101T or 301T.
Right.
So I was expecting
101T.
The 101T. I was expecting more of a difference between the 101T and the cavity back than I was from the cavity back to the muscle back.
Right.
But I think I see the opposite. I notice a difference between the muscle back and cavity back looking down at it.
Okay. Just smaller, you think?
Just
more
feels
compact,
like
thinner?
Feels like a blade. Yeah, just
Okay.
feels like I'm looking at a blade.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them are really good looking golf clubs looking down at the club. Slightly fat, maybe. Not much, a little shorter. Much better strike, little push.
Yeah.
So yeah, to me, looks different than the cavity back. It looks like a blade. I think they're beautiful golf clubs to look down at. I would say, you know, if I had one thing, they remind me of hitting Titleist irons. And the one thing that, I don't know if it's not a knock or it's just an observation, but they just feel a little bit hard, I would say, through impact. You know, one thing I like about some irons, I used to play Mizuno irons, and they're very soft, I would say, so it's just a different feeling. I feel like they feel a little bit just, I wouldn't say they feel soft through impact.
That felt really good right there. Not gonna lie. I get what you're saying. This feels, it seems like a little bit
It's a blade.
more different, bad grammar, but it feels a little bit more substantially different than I thought it maybe would when you just look at the back of it.
Yeah.
You just look at the back of it, it looks a lot like that CB, but putting it down, it definitely, something, yeah, it looks a little more blade-like. That being said,
Best two shots.
these are the best two shots I've hit all day, so I don't know where to go with that. That wasn't great, but it was still pretty good. Get on the line. Last thing we're going to do in this video, I'm going to have Keenan, if he's willing, hit all three of these heads, and we're just going to get all the data so I can show you exactly the numbers, because he's going to be a lot more consistent than I am in general. So that way you have a little better idea what you would maybe see spin, launch, and distance between these three. Go in. Go in. It's close. Yeah, so what do we get there? Ball speed difference between them, 119, 119, and the 101T was a little bit faster at, you can see the averages there, 121. So a little bit more ball speed on the 101T. Launch angle, kind of what you would expect with 2 degrees more loft on those 301s, both of them up above 19, and the 101T at 18. And then backspin, yeah, again, not really a big surprise between the loft and just that a little bit hotter face, which sometimes drops that spin a little bit. The cavity back and the muscle back, almost identical in backspin, and the 101T is about 500, 600 less. Carry distance, 167, 167, 170. Yeah, pretty much exactly what you would, pretty much exactly what you would expect. And honestly, the 301 CB and MB were really, really close on all those numbers.
Yeah.
Everything, ball speed, launch angle, spin rate, and carry distance were pretty much identical. So I think you could easily switch between those two without much issue. Final thoughts of the three?
101T, a little more distance, but just the loft is different. So I feel like it's pretty similar. I feel like, you know, for my money, the CB and the MB, I felt like they look different looking down at them. Mm-hmm. And the results and the feel is pretty much the same. So if they look different and they feel the same, go with the one that looks bigger.
Right, exactly.
So I like the CB.
I second all that. I think the data here makes exactly what you would basically expect from it. I think the, you know, for me at least, strangely, I hit the muscle back better than the other ones. I don't know why. It may just be a fluke and I just managed to get 3 consecutive decent swings on it. But I thought overall, at least in a 7-iron, I thought that muscle back was pretty forgiving for what it is. I mean, when you look down on it, it's compact, but it's not scary looking. So, and then I think the 101T really is a very compact looking club. If people are really wanting, you know, a club that I think is still workable, but gives you more of that player's distance, then I think this definitely fits the bill, because it is not chunky by any means. I mean, they did a good job of hiding whatever size is there and making it look more like a blade style club. So if you're interested, we've got here at Elite Fit Golf all the Takomo options. So the 101T, the 201, the 301, So basically something for everyone. If you're interested, definitely get in touch with me here and we can set up a fitting. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please go down below, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you'll be alerted when I post new videos. I, of course, want to thank Keenan for helping us out today again, and we will see you guys next time. So take care.